you very much for taking the time to join me just for a quick discussion. Obviously, you've been a strong advocate around open access to the Transnet network. As Railways Africa, we fully support this. Now the president has made the announcement. It all seems to be a reality. And this week you made the announcement off the back of that with regards to an investment. What are your thoughts?
Well, we've been such a big advocate of this for a while because we see it as really low-hanging fruit for government to unlock a policy shift or a change in direction that is going to, most importantly, really stimulate economic growth in the country. We have this enormous installed base in South Africa of sort of circa 36,000 kilometers of track. Transnet have about 23,000 kilometers of route kilometers of installed track base.
Yes.
And by increasing the capacity of that network, by allowing other operators to invest in train sets and grow the capacity, achieve these road-to-rail conversions, what we're doing is we're improving the competitiveness of the broader economy, and at a time when South Africa is desperate for growth. So, from that perspective, we think it's a huge win for the country. We think it's a great win. But if you start stripping down the layers and you say, well, is it good for Transnet? Well, we think it's extremely value enhancing to Transnet because it releases Transnet to utilize that latent capacity that exists in this enormous network we have to generate access fees. And that then becomes this really material income stream for them. Remembering, of course, that most of your costs associated with track are fixed. So additional trains running on top of the infrastructure are largely incremental cash flows. So they're very valuable cash flows to you for railways to have. So then it's very valuable and value enhancing to Transnet. Then politically we say, well, is this politically something, given the often conflicting views that the different sectors of our society have to how our economy should be run? Is this an easy political sell in the South African context? And there's absolutely zero privatization required in order to get this done. In fact, it enhances the SOE in this instance and the track owner, which is Transnet. So politically, we also think this is a great thing for the country in terms of low-hanging fruit and being able to roll it out quickly. Then from a regulatory point of view, what is needed for this to be done, and from everything that we know through conversation with the Railroad Association and regulators, is that it's within Transnet's right to sign access agreements. So that means, the president said he wanted it done in 12 months. That's now 11 months and 3 weeks. And that means that, it can be done within that period because Transnet now need to go and set the terms onto which they want to contract us as operators, or they believe it's right that we contract us as operators into the system. And then finally you say, well, what about the rail industry? And is this good for the rail industry? Well, at the end of the day, the whole rail value chain survives off the back of operators moving freight or operators moving commuters. So we operate in the freight rail environment. So adding additional freight operators increases the customer base. And when you increase the customer base, you reduce your counterparty risk, you reduce the risks in South Africa of being part of that value chain.
Yes.
And when that happens, you start to garner confidence because you're not a number of companies chasing one customer, which is the South African government in the form of Transnet and PRASA. You're now chasing a number of customers. And that's extremely value enhancing. It brings a huge amount of confidence into the system.
Yes.
And you don't have a scenario like we've had in the South African rail industry in the last 3 to 5 years, where we've had this huge, massive amount of liquidations, retrenchments, companies going into business rescue because of the pullback that you've had in spending, because those SOEs have had to pull back their costs in order to reconsolidate their financial position. And that's not a criticism. It just is what it is. And, to have a number of different customers for this value chain in the industry is really also a positive thing. So we think it's a win across the board. I think it's hugely positive for South Africa. And off the back of it, we are thrilled to have the shareholder backing to be able to immediately commence with the board program. But you've got to remember, Philippa, that's the first steps over what should be a multi-year investment program And we sincerely hope it's not just us as an operator. We really sincerely hope there would be a number of other operators entering the market as well.
Well, I think there will be, and so long as that there is like sound political will and everything is signed off, I definitely foresee quite a bit of investment being unlocked because of this. And not just in the rail sector, but in other sectors as well, as a result.
Yeah, exactly. The money that we spend into locomotives and wagons is really important. The assembly of them here would be outstanding and great for industry. The number of people we train is brilliant. The money we spend on training is brilliant. The jobs we create is great. But really, the example we often quote is, if we put a number of train sets into operating for a mine, as a new mine, as an example, we could create 50 jobs in order to operate that service, okay? But that mine could unlock thousands and thousands of jobs, and that's the really exciting thing. It's this exponential benefit that you get from additional rail capacity into an economy, and that for us is really what brings real meaning to ourselves as a business, and I think into our industry.
Fantastic. Well, James, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to keeping up to date on this with you.
Great, thank you. Let's hope it happens soon.
Yes, absolutely.